This is the cargo area of your typical commercial flight. You would expect it to carry only your luggage, but this time, it's transporting something much more valuable. While you're flying at 35,000 feet, a fortune in gold bars could be traveling just beneath you, quietly moved between financial giants like JP Morgan and the Federal Reserve. The logistics behind it are mind-blowing. The security is built to be nearly unbreakable, and almost no one outside the system truly knows how it works. But in April of 2023, that system was exposed by a $20 million heist in Toronto. You might wonder why anyone would put millions of dollars in gold on a passenger plane instead of a dedicated cargo flight. The answer is surprisingly simple. Time equals money, and in the gold market, every hour counts. Picture London and New York as two giant marketplaces where gold prices constantly shift. When political chaos hits or banks start wobbling, investors flee to gold. During the 2023 banking crisis, this created massive price gaps between cities. Gold might sell for $2,000 an ounce in London, but $2,050 in New York. That $50 difference might seem small, but when you're moving tons of gold, it adds up to millions in profit. Ships take weeks to cross the Atlantic, way too slow when prices are moving by the hour. Cargo planes are expensive and obvious, but commercial flights are cheap, frequent, and nobody suspects the family heading to Disney World is flying with a vault's worth of gold beneath their feet. So how do you turn gold sitting in a London vault into gold ready for New York? It's more complicated than you might think, and it all starts with a problem of size. The Bank of England stores gold in 400-ounce bars, thick, heavy bricks weighing 27 pounds each. But the Federal Reserve Bank of New York only accepts 100-ounce bars. This is where Switzerland comes in. Before gold can fly from London to New York, it takes a detour through Swiss refineries like Metalor or PAM. The process is mesmerizing and dangerous. Those 400-ounce bars get loaded into furnaces heated to over 1900 degrees Fahrenheit. The air shimmers with heat waves as solid metal transforms into molten streams of liquid fire. Workers in silver protective suits move like astronauts, guiding the glowing metal with ceramic-tipped tools. Steam hisses as the molten gold hits the precision molds. The metal cools from white-hot to golden yellow, hardening into perfect rectangles. Robotic arms lift each bar to stamping stations where industrial presses slam down with hydraulic force. Machines capable of generating anywhere from 6 to 150 tons of crushing pressure. Think of it like having the weight of the Eiffel Tower concentrated into a stamp the size of your palm. These hydraulic giants don't just press, they obliterate any chance of error, using Pascal's law to uniformly transmit pressure in all directions, ensuring every character is carved with surgical precision. With forces reaching up to 150 tons, the press doesn't just touch the gold but brands it with the authority of a judicial gavel, each strike creating an indelible fingerprint that will follow this metal across continents. The hydraulic system transforms simple fluid pressure into earth-moving force, making these machines the ultimate authority in permanent marking. No gold bar leaves without carrying its official passport stamped deep into its very soul. Every single bar gets tested for purity, weighed to the 1/10 of a gram, and photographed from multiple angles. But here's where things get interesting from a security standpoint. Every single bar needs paperwork, certificates of purity, weight verification, ownership records. It's like a passport system for metal, and it's just like human passports. These documents can be forged. The entire global gold trade runs on a simple assumption. If the paperwork matches the database, the gold must be legitimate. The newly minted bars get sealed in tamper-evident containers with no gold labels, no flashy logos. Just cold, industrial packaging that could contain anything. The goal is to look as boring as possible because boring doesn't attract attention. Now comes the part that looks like something out of an action movie. Those nondescript containers get loaded into trucks that are anything but ordinary. These aren't delivery vans, they're mobile fortresses. 8 tons of reinforced steel, armored to BR-7 standard, which means they can take armor-piercing bullets without flinching. The windows are multi-layered ballistic glass thick enough to stop a rifle round. The tires are run flat, so even if they're shot out, the truck keeps rolling. Watch as steel shutters slam shut over the windshield with hydraulic precision. Inside, it feels more like a spaceship cockpit than a truck cab. Ballistic seats cradle the crew. GPS tracking pinpoints their location within inches, and live video feeds stream to security centers across multiple countries. Biometric locks scan fingerprints and retinas, only opening for specific individuals. Some trucks even have retractable steel barriers that can seal the cabin, smoke canisters to create confusion, and reinforced underbodies to resist roadside bombs. The engineering is impressive, designed to withstand everything from small firearms to coordinated attacks. As the convoy approaches the airport, armed guards walk alongside like a presidential motorcade. Their weapons are visible, their training evident. There's no stopping for traffic lights, no pulling over for bathroom breaks. The route is planned to the minute. But despite all the armor, guns, and technology, the whole system still relies on something surprisingly fragile: paperwork and human trust. Those guards aren't checking the molecular composition of each bar. They're looking at documents that say, "This container holds X amount of gold." And documents, no matter how official they look, can lie. The truck drives straight onto the airport tarmac. No public terminals, no side doors where curious eyes might peek. It positions itself directly next to the aircraft. This is the moment of maximum vulnerability. The hydraulic lift engages with mechanical precision, and the gold, secured in standardized ULD containers, slides into the VAL zone. VAL stands for valuable cargo. Basically, it's a first-class section for expensive stuff, separate from where your luggage gets tossed around. The handoff happens with choreographed efficiency. The airline crew doesn't get told what they're carrying. To them, it's just another sealed pallet heading to New York. Each container is equipped with low-T-enabled sensors. These tiny smart devices act like digital watchdogs. They monitor location, temperature, humidity, shock levels, and any attempts at tampering. If someone tries to crack open a container, alarms instantly ping security teams in London, Zurich, and New York. The technology seems foolproof, a marvel of modern engineering. But technology still requires human input, and humans can be corrupted, threatened, or simply make mistakes. Once that gold disappears into the cargo hold of a commercial airliner, it enters a fascinating world most passengers never imagine exists. You're settling into your seat, complaining about legroom, while millions in precious metal sits just beneath your feet. The gold travels in the VAL zone, a special section designed for high-value shipments. Each container continuously transmits data, precise GPS coordinates, internal temperature, vibration levels, and security status. Airlines like British Airways, Emirates, Lufthansa, and American Airlines regularly carry gold on passenger routes. You might think airplane weight limits control how much gold gets shipped, but it's actually insurance that sets the rules. Underwriters typically cap coverage at $500 million per flight. That's about 5 metric tons of gold. Anything more valuable gets split across multiple flights. During the flight, the digital nervous system keeps working. Every few minutes, the containers send updates to monitoring centers on 3 continents. Security screens display real-time maps showing the previous cargo's journey across the Atlantic. But even the most sophisticated tracking system has a blind spot. It assumes the gold that got loaded is the gold that's supposed to be there. The sensors can tell you a container is secure, but they can't tell you if someone swapped the contents before it ever reached the plane. Landing in New York brings its own set of choreographed procedures. The plane taxis to a secure area where another armored convoy awaits. The handoff happens fast. Cargo doors open, containers slide out on powered rollers, and within minutes, they're rolling toward the Federal Reserve Bank of New York's vault system, one of the largest gold repositories in the world. But here's the critical moment that makes everything we've discussed vulnerable: the final verification. Someone has to check that what arrived matches what was supposed to arrive. They scan serial numbers, verify weights, and most importantly, they check the paperwork against their computer systems. This is where the human element becomes both the system's greatest strength and its fatal weakness. Experienced handlers can spot irregularities that computers might miss, a seal that looks slightly off, paperwork with inconsistent fonts, timing that doesn't quite add up. But humans also get tired, distracted, and most dangerously, they trust official-looking documents. The verification process relies on something that seems bulletproof but isn't. The assumption that if the paperwork matches the computer system, everything must be legitimate. But what happens when someone with access to that computer system decides to create paperwork for a shipment that doesn't exist? April 17, 2023. Toronto Pearson International Airport. Everything we've just described was about to be undone by something shockingly simple. Parmpal Sidhu had been watching gold shipments for months as an Air Canada cargo handler. He knew which flights carried the real treasures, their exact schedules, and most importantly, how the verification process worked. His colleague, Simran Preet Penisar, was positioned to smooth over any bumps that might expose their plan. But their real advantage was something the security system never anticipated. They were already inside. Their target was Flight AC-881 from Zurich, carrying 6,600 gold bars, worth 20 million Canadian dollars, plus millions more in foreign currency. But here's where their audacity really shines. They printed fake shipment documents at the airport itself, using their workplace computers to create flawless paperwork for cargo that didn't exist. The cover story? Scottish salmon. It's brilliant when you think about it. Scotland exports millions of dollars worth of premium Atlantic salmon to Canada every year, shipped in heavy, insulated containers that need refrigerated transport. Food shipments are common, heavy, and urgent. Fish spoils, so handlers move quickly without asking questions. The fake documents matched weights, shipping codes, flight numbers, everything. They exploited every vulnerability we've discussed. Inside access to create legitimate-looking paperwork, human trust in official documents, and the dangerous assumption that someone else had already verified the cargo. The genius was in the timing. Sidhu knew the exact moment when the real Brinks armored van would arrive for pickup. He knew the shift changes, the verification procedures, the blind spots in the security system. Most importantly, he knew that cargo handlers trust their computer screens more than their instincts. That evening, a truck rolled up to the cargo facility with documents claiming to pick up fresh Atlantic salmon from Scotland. The handlers, seeing legitimate-looking paperwork on their screens, loaded containers full of gold bars worth $20 million. The database showed a valid pickup authorization. The serial numbers matched. Every security procedure was followed perfectly. Hours later, when the real Brinks armored van arrived for the actual pickup, handlers opened empty containers. Panic rippled through the terminal. The gold was long gone. The brilliance of the heist wasn't technological sophistication, but psychological manipulation. Every security protocol depends on trusting the person behind the computer screen. What happens when that person is the threat? Toronto exposed a terrifying truth. The world's most secure systems still rely on pieces of paper. Official documents can lie when created by insiders with legitimate access. The aftermath devastated more than vaults. Insurance rates skyrocketed overnight. Airports worldwide installed digital verification systems, biometric locks, enhanced background checks. Yet despite massive investigations across multiple countries, only 2 pounds were recovered from 800. The careers of security officials were destroyed, and the reputations of institutions were shattered. It all happened when someone exposed a simple truth. The world's most advanced security system still relies on the oldest currency of all. Every security measure failed, not because of technology, but because of the one thing technology can't fix: human trust. Bye for now.